You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at BrianCraigShow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome to the program, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Hope everyone had a great Memorial Day weekend, although we did upload new shows and things to YouTube over Memorial Day weekend. So if you missed our weekend podcast, go back and listen. It was a good one. We touched on a lot of important things. But here we are the day after Memorial Day, and the news today is Durham's trial ended in an acquittal of the Clinton lawyer Sussman. I'm going to go through this story, but this guy, everyone is going to tell you, I told you. No one told you. Okay, we all had faith in Durham, But now I had been saying though lately that this Sussman was looking very confident. He looked like he didn't have a worry in the world. And we found out there were, 2 or 3 Clinton donors on the jury?
Yeah.
And one of them had donated to Hillary Clinton and
Plus the judge
AOC.
was appointed by Obama. So.
Yeah, the judge was a big Democrat, liberal, and everything else. So
these people are never held accountable.
Well, this jury verdict, let me tell you, I mean, there's no one, the last time someone was acquitted on charges they were guilty of this level was O.J. Simpson in the O.J. Simpson trial. I mean, this guy.
Well, he didn't kill anybody like O.J.
No. What I mean is someone O.J. killed 2 people. No, Sussman is as guilty as the day is long. Yeah. I mean, there's just no question about it. But, one thing that people, I don't think fully grasp, a lot of MAGA people, I talk about this a lot, but I don't think a lot of people truly grasp this because they can't fathom how this could be, but it's the way. All these people, Hillary, Sussman, this judge, these Clinton donors, AOC donors on the jury and everything, they don't think of themselves as evil, devious people who are taking part in treason and spreading lies. They think they are the saviors of America and that they have saved us from Donald Trump. And I know that's insane, but that's how they think.
Well, what has all of her conniving and scheming actually done?
Oh, I'll tell you what it's done.
For her. What has it done for her?
Well, Trump
She's
is
still not in the White House.
Yeah, but Trump has only been president 1 term so far.
He'll be back.
Okay,
yeah, so
and
far.
that's what. Now let me go through this. This is it's. I'd like to say it's upsetting, but it's not surprising, I guess, to anyone. I hate to say that, but it's not. And Durham's taken a long time to come around with this, and I've never really been truly confident in Durham. There's been when he brought this guy to trial, I felt okay, this is good. But then you got to ask yourself, what sense does it do to bring someone to a jury trial in the federal courts in the D.C. area where you get a political establishment judge, a huge chunk of the people who live there that are in the jury pool are either they're politically active or they work for the government. I mean, how can you get a real jury that is not a Trump-hating jury in that area? I mean, look at what like Colonel Vindman reported the president of the United States over this Ukrainian phone call. I didn't even know there was a mechanism for an officer in the military to report the president of the United States, but Vindman did it with Trump, and it led to an impeachment. There was an investigation with Inspector General and all that.
Yeah.
So I mean, we're in all new territory with Trump. So let me read through this. The version of the story I'm reading, it's in every outlet, is in the Daily Mail. I like the Daily Mail. I know it's left wing, but I like their format, and they do cover all the stories. Former Hillary Clinton campaign attorney Michael Sussman has been found not guilty of lying to the FBI in the first trial of special counsel John Durham's investigation into what sparked the investigation of Donald Trump's 2016 campaign. This guy not only lied to the FBI, it wasn't like they keep talking about this text message, and he put in motion with that lie a whole bunch of other lies. And he was also involved in the spy operation on Trump Tower and at the White House when Trump was in office. It's one of just 2 indictments and 1 guilty plea in Durham's 3-year inquiry into the origins of the Mueller probe. After just 6 hours of deliberation, I'm surprised it took them that long. I think they decided not guilty like a long time ago. A jury, I guess they went to 6 hours to make it look like they had put thought into it.
They had a long lunch.
Exactly. A jury, they did this before lunch. Okay. A jury rejected Durham's claim that Sussman lied to federal agents when sending them dirt on Trump's alleged links to a bank backed by Moscow. Trump slammed the verdict as a result of a corrupt legal system, no doubt about that. Our legal system is corrupt. Our judges and justices are highly partisan, compromised, or just plain scared. Our borders are open. This is Trump today. Gas prices and food costs are through the roof. Our military leadership is woke. Our country is going to hell. And Michael Sussman is not guilty. President Trump fumed on True Social. I like that the media are now quoting
I love it.
His post on True Social.
I knew that was going to happen.
And,
this will all help Trump. It'll just give him more stuff to talk about. And the American people, especially his supporters, will see what this is, what it's for. And it only perpetuates that whole truth that they're corrupt, that it's a corrupt system. And, that's what rallies people behind somebody like Trump, because that's a huge part of his platform and a huge part of his messaging. Is the corruption from the left and from the swamp. And this is only going to reinforce that with his base. I read an article today. Somebody wrote an article I put on your Facebook group, Brian Craig Facebook group, how Trump's base are getting tired of him. You have to read it. It's
Who's
really
that?
funny.
Who's getting tired of Trump in the base?
This guy, nobody.
His imagination.
Exactly.
Of this guy.
How we're getting tired of his complaining.
We don't get enough of him.
Antics and all. That's why everybody shows up for rallies and by the thousands. And that's bad weather.
That's the attitude.
That's what they think. They really think
that's the attitude of this judge, this jury, and this Sussman. And they think terrible things about him. Sussman said outside the courthouse today, I told the truth to the FBI. The jury clearly recognized that with their unanimous verdict today. I'm grateful to the members of the jury for their careful, thoughtful service. See, this thing's service. These people, they think they have answered President Kennedy's call to public service, and they are public servants. And I noticed that, this is something I picked up a few months ago. I saw Colonel Vindman interviewed on MSNBC. And he was talking about how he dedicated his life to public service. And everything he said, those of us in public service, those of us who have chosen public service, those of us who are in public service, these people that are these self-proclaimed saintly figures of public servants are anything but. They think we service them. They think that, Taylor Swift, it's her world, you're just living in it. These Washington insiders think it's their country and we're just living in it. And they all believe they have saved us from Trump. And
they know best, honey. We're just stupid people.
This spy operation, that Sussman was involved in went beyond the Trump Tower operation. He was colluding with someone who had access to the White House computers, and they were spying on the Oval Office.
It's so funny because we just started watching this amazing documentary on the History Channel, produced by Leonardo DiCaprio on Teddy Roosevelt. I just got it recorded. I guess it aired last night. It's so good. And back in the 19th century, when he was, working in New York and all this, he was talking about the corruption of the Democratic Party. And you looked at me and you said, this is how it's always been with these people, and how they would lie to the press and put in fake stories about him, about Roosevelt, to malign his reputation.
Same thing with Trump.
This is nothing new. I mean, this is what they do. They did it to Teddy Roosevelt, who's a lot like Trump, and the establishment hated him too. In fact, they made him a vice president of McKinley to silence him and to give him a job because they all hated him so much. And the Republican Party as a whole hated Teddy Roosevelt and wanted him to go away because he took on the establishment. This would be a really good book comparing him with Trump. They are very similar. I almost think Trump's now a reincarnation of Teddy Roosevelt.
Yeah,
they're so similar. And he dealt with the corruption of the Democratic Party and even his own party against him, and how they lied about him in the press and created this figure. They saw him as dangerous. It's like, echoing what's happening now. It's just incredible. And he was a great man and very famous. It's incredible.
Sussman, he goes on here. This is Sussman today after this fake acquittal. By the way, when you're found not guilty, you're not found innocent, right? Like OJ.
Yeah.
Okay, so Sussman, he says, despite being falsely accused, I'm relieved that justice ultimately prevailed in my case. He said the past year has been difficult on him and his family.
Boo-hoo.
Yeah, but what about the whole country?
What about what they've put Trump through and his family?
And the whole country with this fake Russian narrative. Durham said after
These people are really incredible.
Oh, yeah.
How deluded they are.
Durham said after the verdict, while we are disappointed in the outcome, we respect the jury's decision and thank them for their service. I don't respect them, and I don't thank them for anything. I mean, I'm not happy about that, Durham. I also want to this is Durham. I also want to recognize and thank the investigators and the prosecution team for their dedicated efforts in seeking truth and justice. Prosecutors claim that Sussman misrepresented himself to the FBI General Counsel Jim Baker when he asked for a meeting in 2016 where he presented what he claimed was evidence connecting Trump to this Russian bank, which he knew was false. And this is the top guy with, I guess what they're trying to say is, well, this guy wasn't an FBI agent. He was a lawyer for the FBI. You know, one thing that was very strange about this is Sussman had a pass, like a visitor's pass, to go to get in the FBI building. Because he had this exchange with the attorney from the FBI. He's like, "Oh, I can leave a pass." He's like, "I already have a pass."
As if he's working with them.
Exactly. Who has passes to do these things? I mean, it's so bizarre. Durham claimed,
unbelievable. So this is going to go nowhere now.
It's over.
Water.
It's over. The Durham investigation. It's all over.
Another dog and pony show.
If they and I'll tell you, I was very disappointed with Durham bringing this lying to the FBI charge against this guy, because this guy was involved in espionage when you're wiretapping.
Yeah, it seemed like a really weak charge. Kind of like getting Al Capone on tax evasion kind of thing. Well, and then they didn't even get him on that. It was like, well, let's just do something to make the people look like we're doing something.
Well, unfortunately, in federal court, there are no cameras, so that you get like transcripts and news stories and you miss a lot. But I think maybe what the defense argued is that, well, if he lied to the FBI general counsel, that's not an FBI agent, so that's not like lying to the FBI. I think that's probably what they did. And, maybe that's the way the law works. John Durham's supposed to be a top guy. He would know that. It's almost like Durham set this up for Sussman to be cleared, so he could be like, I did my best.
Yeah, but
is Durham part of the swamp?
But what about him being charged with making up a story and feeding it to the press to malign?
It's not illegal to lie to the press. It's not illegal to lie to the press.
Well, this is what I think should happen, and I think Trump's going to do this. I think he was waiting for this to be decided. And if he doesn't do this, he's crazy. But I think he should sue Hillary Clinton in civil court and force her to give a deposition and sue her for slander and libel, for lying to the media, to malign his name, to hurt his business, his presidency, malign his family, his children. That's what I think he should do. I think he will.
Disgusting.
I think that's going to be his next move to take, like OJ's family. Ron's parents took OJ to civil court, and he had to pay through the nose. So I think that's what Trump should do now, is sue her in civil court for this.
Now, before we get through the rest of this story, and there is more, we're going to go through this, I want to tell everyone, Father's Day is coming up less than 3 weeks away from today, and I want to tell you what a great Father's Day gift for any dad on your gift-giving list. And it's something that I myself have, and I'm a dad, and I'm telling you, this will change the dad on your Father's Day gift-giving list life. And I'm talking about Mike Lindell's MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper. We've had our 3-inch mattress topper for 14 months, and it changed our lives. And it's made our lives a lot better because we are getting a full night of rested sleep each and every night. And when I've traveled out of town and stayed in hotels, I feel like I'm sleeping on concrete blocks. Compared to this mattress topper,
sleep like in a strange bed anymore. Like
the mattress topper is so
difficult.
Good. It's that good.
It's so good.
Well, the reason we got the MyPillow mattress topper is Kathy was having some back pain. We got it. We put it on the bed. We slept on it that night. It was a Saturday night. We woke up on Sunday morning. Kathy's back pain was gone. It's not returned. And for the first time in years, I woke up when the sun was out. I always wake up early. I always wake up early in the morning on the weekends. During the week, I always wake up before the alarm. That was not the case even after just one night with the MyPillow 3-inch mattress topper, and it's that way each and every night since. And you get that full rested night's sleep. It is a life-changing experience. And let me tell you, it comes with a 10-year warranty. The cover is machine washable. It has no moving parts. You just put it on top of your bed. That's it. It's got 4 straps, 1 on each corner. They fit perfectly. It doesn't slip. It doesn't slide. It's perfect the way it fits. It doesn't move around once it's on, and you will love it. It comes in a great package that's perfect for wrapping. If you're not going to see Dad, just have it mailed to him, and you'll enjoy it yourself too, ladies. It will change your life. It also makes a great gift for the kids because it comes in every size mattress there is, from twin all the way up to California King, and every size in between, including RV Queen. And, you get one for your child's bed, their twin bed, or maybe their dorm room. Your grandparents out there, it's a great gift for the grandkids and the kids living off at college too. It's a wonderful gift. And right now at MyPillow.com, with our promo code at checkout, Kane, Kane, 30% off the MyPillow mattress topper, and you get a free set of sheets with it. So you get the mattress topper 30% off and a free set of sheets to go with it. That's a very good deal. But you've got to use our promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout. And remember, when you do that, you're supporting Mike Lindell and all his great work. He was at the Trump rally in Wyoming over the weekend. And, of course, you're supporting our program and all the content that I'm a part of, the Steve Kane Show, my YouTube channel, the podcast. Promo code Kane, Kane, at checkout.
It's important to support Mike Lindell because I didn't realize this. He goes to every rally, and he flies in his jet, which costs money, to go to every rally, to be there with Trump. Trump always calls him out. I think they're become best friends. He loves the guy.
Yeah, they are tight friends.
They're really tight, and he's at every rally supporting Trump and being there to support us and
absolutely.
Trump and spending his own money doing that. So it's really important to support him too.
Yeah, and there's many other specials. You can take advantage of all of them with our promo code Kane, Kane. All right, so John Durham claimed that Sussman posed himself as a concerned citizen when in reality he was working on behalf of Hillary Clinton and a tech executive named Rodney Jaffe. Okay, so as this goes on, this is amazing. Now, the FBI general counsel, his name's Jim Baker. Baker told a jury that denying acting on behalf of any particular client was part of Sussman's introduction to the meeting. He said knowingly meeting with a campaign operative would raise serious questions in his mind about the credibility of the source, according to the New York Post. I think I would have said meet with case agents associated with the Hillary Clinton email investigation, meet with the mid-year exam folks, Baker said. The special counsel also claimed in an April court filing that Sussman worked with Jaffe and his company and numerous cyber researchers and employees at multiple internet companies to access damaging information about Trump. See, the problem is it's not just that he lied to the FBI. He was part of an illegal wiretapping situation, both at Trump Tower and at the White House when Trump was president.
Well, nobody's being charged with that, which is probably what they should be charged with. They charge him with this lesser
espionage.
Thing. Yeah, I agree. They charge him with this lesser thing that he knew he probably wouldn't be convicted of.
I think Durham knew. I think Durham knew that this was going to be an acquittal.
Another dog and pony show, as I've said, that the taxpayers are paying for, just to make people feel like they're actually doing something where they know the outcome in advance.
That's right.
What's going to happen, but they go through the motions anyway because they have nothing better to do when they're not paying for it. So why the hell not? And then make people think, oh, well, we tried. We tried to do something, and now we can move on from this and move on to the next scheme.
See, all Trump has is us, okay?
That's right.
All these people in Washington, Durham and all the rest, they depend on one another. They're in the same club. He's not a part of the club. He's an outsider. You're an outsider. I'm an outsider. Right. We're not supposed to have any access to any of these people either.
He is fighting for us, and he is pretty much all alone in Washington. And he is trying to make things better, but these new crop of people that he's helping get elected, he helped Brian Kemp get elected too. Let's see what happens with them once they're in the swamp. And let's see how many of them stay loyal to him and how many of them turn on him.
He's had at least 100 victories in the primaries, maybe a couple more than that by now, but at least 100 and maybe 4 losses. This is a record that's never been accomplished by any politician on endorsements. because he has the support of the people. And it really shows you how much the people in Washington hate the American people. They hate us.
They have total disdain.
They think of us like Joy Reid and Lawrence O'Donnell and all those people. That's how they think of us. They hate us. They hate him.
Well, because we're getting in their way. And we're getting in their way of their new world order.
I guess so.
And,
that's what they think.
Like how Hitler thought of the Jews. And if they could just deal with us, maybe not the way Hitler did, but at least silence us or take away our rights, that's how they operate, then they can create this perfect utopian world that we're holding back, that we're preventing from happening because we're just a bunch of dumb, stupid rednecks.
That's right. And that's the way
That's
is.
really what they think.
And you know what? It's always going to be this way. We've got Ron DeSantis and some other MAGA people that are in high-level positions right now. We have more up-and-comers around the country. And eventually the Republican establishment will be morphed, hopefully.
I hope so.
Into a MAGA party and will be in control of things.
As long as they stay uncorruptible.
Yeah, but the problem is
the untouchables. That's what Trump needs, the untouchables.
We've got a lot of people in the Republican Party like Kevin McCarthy, and I believe Durham. I believe Durham knew there was not going to be a conviction here based on the way that he went at it, what he charged this guy with.
Yeah, and Bill Barr too.
Yeah, they're all against us. They always will be against us. There'll never be any. They really would have been better off if they would have just let Trump alone, let him have his 2 terms, and then maybe things get back to normal. But they can't do it. They're even still going after him. They will not leave this man alone. In these rallies, they scare them to death. He spoke at the NRA convention in Texas on Friday, which the other top people wouldn't, like Governor Abbott. They canceled. Trump went there.
They're a bunch of cowards.
And his speech was phenomenal. If you didn't get a chance to catch it, you should go back and try to find it. It was a very good speech about the situation in Texas that happened last week, the tragedy. And then he had his rally in Wyoming, which was the largest political event in the history of Wyoming. It was his first rally in Wyoming. And like every other rally President Trump has, the crowd size is only limited by the fire codes of the venue. And they are scared by this. They see the tens of thousands that show up for him, sometimes with just a day's notice. And there's no other politician alive, or maybe there's been no other politician in the history of America that's had this kind of turnout and support. I want you to think about this too. He's already been president for 1 term. There has never been a former president who traveled around and can get more than a couple of dozen people at a book signing. Former presidents, especially after 1 term, no one wants anything to do with them. And President Trump is more popular today than ever. And part of the reason is all the oppression he has to deal with because they make a victim out of him. You know what I mean? The MAGA forces rally behind him. Plus,
I don't think they make him a victim. I think he's a folk hero.
Yeah, maybe that's a better
victim
way.
At all.
Well, no, they make him oppressed. Is what they're showing that they're trying to oppress him when he's so popular. Is what I mean. But a folk hero is a good.
No, I've always seen him as the more they go after him, the more of a folk hero he becomes.
Yeah,
and the more people feel the need to support him and rally behind him and get behind him, the more they attack him.
Yeah.
Because he really is fighting for our beliefs and for what America is all about. And with the rhinos, you never see them fighting for us, ever. I remember when Obama was in office and he passed all these horrible things and all this social stuff. And we had the House and the Senate, and they did nothing to stop this guy. They were so afraid of being called racist. So they let him do whatever he wanted. And Trump really is the first politician, since Reagan, I think, who really fights for conservative values. And GW was useless, and he created a whole war that we didn't need that killed thousands of people and destabilized the Middle East. What a disaster that was. He was just a boob. But Trump really is fighting for what we believe in. And I like it because he comes out and he's not afraid to tell it like it is and say things that everybody's thinking. He speaks like everyday Americans, and I think that's another reason why people like him so much, because I remember Scott Baio was getting a lot of heat for supporting Trump in the beginning, and he said on an interview, he said, he speaks like me. He speaks like the way I speak, the way I think, like everyday Americans that live in the real world. He understands what's going on, and he gets it, and that's why I like him, and that's what people like about him.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. We've just scratched the surface. We'll be right back after this.
Summertime's right around the corner. Are you ready for your summer vacation in the Great Smoky Mountains? Did you know that the Great Smoky Mountains is the most popular national park? It has everything you and your family are looking for this summer. The Dollywood theme park, walk the trails, mountain biking, there's even a waterfall, outdoor rafting, horseback riding, fishing, and that's just the beginning. You can have it all. And there's no better way to enjoy the Great Smoky Mountains than staying in a beautiful sky view log cabin. Imagine waking up with the sunshine shining through the massive glass windows, having your morning coffee on the balcony, and enjoy the natural beauty around you, and have all the modern amenities too. A private hot tub, fireplace, a pool table, and more. Visit skyviewvacation.com and book your accommodations right now. skyviewvacation.com. Leaders, let's face it, change is uncomfortable, but it is also necessary for sustained success. Is your organization experiencing rapid growth, implementing a new product or service, restructuring departments, or modifying workflows? Whatever the change, if you want to keep your employees engaged and customers delighted throughout the process, there is a book that can help. Written by Shara Hutchinson, Barefoot in the Boardroom is available wherever books are sold. Barefoot in the Boardroom is a practical change management manual for executives looking for a proven methodology that can break down a huge vision into manageable chunks. Barefoot in the Boardroom will scale any organization, team, or department to not only identify the right strategic initiatives, but to execute those initiatives and sustain success. It is truly every leader's guide to navigating change. Order your copy of Barefoot in the Boardroom from author Shara Hutchinson today, wherever books are sold. Irish sea moss, Irish moss, sea moss, or wild crafted sea moss. People call it by all different names. The ebook, Miracle of the Sea, speaks about the impeccable product that has always been very popular in Ireland, the Caribbean, and amongst American Caribbean people, Irish sea moss. Irish sea moss became extremely popular due to its healing properties, which are a result of its high level of iodine. Sea moss has 92 out of 102 vitamins and minerals that the body needs and has been around for over 14,000 years. That's right, since 600 BC. Irish sea moss helps with natural energy. It can be used in coffee and tea or consumed by itself because it's a gel. It can be used with any recipe, shake or smoothie, and boost energy, as well as helps in curbing the appetite. It can also aid in thyroid support, help build muscle, boost the immune system, help with infertility, and a whole lot more. This must-read book explains the origin, benefits, and uses, and includes recipes. All this for just $2.99. Miracle of the Sea, available online at organicseamoss.shop, Amazon, and also on Etsy. Just search SEBI Holistic Garden. It's all one word on Etsy.com. Order your copy of Miracle of the Sea and begin your journey with Irish sea moss.
You are listening to The Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks so much for tuning in, everyone. You know, with this thing about why do they hate Trump so much, right? These establishment people. And, you know, the reason they hate Trump so much is varied. But the main thing is all these people in Washington are corrupt like Biden. Biden and the Clintons are the most corrupt because they made the most money because they're at the top of the corruption crime family. But all these people in Washington, every member of Congress, they're all rich. What businesses have they been in? They're in the business of public corruption, okay? And they're all like, you know how Pelosi, how her husband has all these business deals. You think he's some huge businessman? No, he gets business deals.
He's like Hunter Biden.
Exactly. He's just a more cleaned up version. Although he got that DUI, he was drunk and got in a car accident. But he's her Hunter Biden. They all
have one.
They all have a Hunter Biden, and some of them have multiple. And they make money off of this. And Trump comes in and he interrupts that business. But the one thing I always point out, and I think it's
he points out their corruption too, which they don't. He shines a light on it, which they don't like.
Well, the one thing Trump did that they made the decision that we just can't work with this guy was the trade deals. Remember when he equalized the import-export taxes between the United States and all these other countries, in particular China. They're taxing us through the nose on everything that comes in, and we tax them like nothing. And when he equalized that, that was it, because all these companies, people say that all these businesses went to China because of the unions. And in part, but that's not the only reason. They've got slave labor over there that works for 10 cents a day. And
it's a deal Bill Clinton made with the Chinese, I think.
Yeah, it's really started with Nixon probably opening up China.
Yeah.
And it got worse over the decades. Yeah. And NAFTA and all this stuff. These companies have very lucrative deals over there in China. I mean, think about it. They move an entire factory from the United States to China, or they didn't even bother having one here because it's been this way for so long. They just build it there. And these huge corporations that are donors to both parties, their entire business model is built around this corrupt deal that they have with China.
Yeah.
And when President Trump would say when he was running for president the first time, and he would say, our politicians are stupid, they have these out of whack deals, he was being kind to them, okay? They're not stupid. The deals are out of whack on purpose.
Yeah, and he was coming along and messing up all those deals.
Exactly.
That they made with these other countries, and
that's right.
They told him, you can't let this happen.
That's right.
He made other countries. He was talking in a speech the other night, and I was talking about this with my mom the other day, how he made NATO, I think it was NATO, or some country, pay back money that they owed us.
Well, the NATO countries,
Germany,
the NATO countries, yeah.
And he said they owed us billions and billions of dollars, and he told them flat out, if you don't pay, we're not going to protect you. Mm-hmm. If something happens, we're not going to be there for you.
Yeah.
Because that's the way the deal works. You have to pay your share. You're a member of NATO. That's what you pay your dues, like we do. And he said, you owe us money. And he said they sent him a check for billions, and it was like $50 billion or 400, I don't know, it was a big number, billions. And that's the kind of stuff they don't like, because when they have Biden in charge, they don't have to pay those dues. He just looks the other way for whatever reason.
Well, and also,
use your imagination.
And also, look at what's going on with Ukraine, right?
He upsets the system too much.
What happens, these countries get away with not paying their NATO dues because the corrupt politicians in this country, They
turn a blind eye.
Well, they've got deals. They don't want them to pay their NATO dues. They don't care. It's not their money. The government's, it's our money, the tax money. Their donors, who are these military contractors, they build bases or sell equipment to all these countries. There's all kinds of dealings, and the politicians get kickbacks on all of that. Look at what's going on right now. We talk about this $81 billion worth of B that's going to Ukraine. That's a money laundering operation by the corrupt.
And they want
public
more money.
officials.
They're asking for more.
Yeah.
They talk about systemic racism. It's really systemic corruption that's going on in the government, especially with the Democratic Party, that's been going on since the country began. Really since after the Civil War, before the Civil War, because they were the ones who owned the slaves and started that whole war. The Democratic Party has always been a problem for this country, and they've always been corrupt, and they've always been suppressors of freedom and everything like that. That hasn't changed, and I don't think it ever will change. That's what they do.
Yep.
Because I feel that party draws a certain personality type that has a strong need to control.
Yeah.
And is a corrupt personality type. But there is systemic corruption, and Trump's not going to get rid of it completely. But I think that he has definitely upset the apple cart, and while he's around, and certainly when he's back in the White House, he'll do whatever the hell he can to put an end to this. It's not going to get rid of it forever, and I think he knows that. But hopefully some things will stick, and I think changing the face of the party is really important to him. And it looks like that's going to happen. But like I said, I hope we see these people once they get in Washington stick to their convictions and not become, Nancy Pelosi's new pets.
Well, yeah, and this is the thing. Okay, this is the thing. when Peter Strzok and Lisa Page got away with everything they did, and Peter Strzok was involved in some really serious, terrible things against our great President Trump. When nothing happened to that guy, I knew then, and I'd lost hope in Durham for a long time until this Sussman trial came up, and I was like, oh well, maybe he's for real and he's doing everything right. Now we see it looks like Durham is part of the swamp.
Yep.
And, they have not been able to get low-level people like Strzok, Lisa Page, Bruce and Nellie Orr, Sussman. They're never going to get Hillary. They're never going to get Pelosi. This DUI arrest of Pelosi's husband, that's the highest level arrest that's going to happen in all of this. They are all immune to it. And I know that's disappointing to people, but you got to deal in reality, and we got to focus.
That's the way it is. That's the way it's
That's
always
right.
been.
We got to focus our energies on getting Trump-backed MAGA people elected to every office, and of course President Trump again in 2024.
The way to handle it is to to not go after the negative, but be positive, and like you said, have people get involved. And, like my stepmom is very conservative. She's now volunteering as a poll worker, something she's never done. She's in her 70s, and she's doing that now. She's getting very involved in local politics. Everybody needs to do that, get involved, and you have to push out that corruption. And you're not going to do it sitting at home, bitching and complaining about it and waiting for these people to end up in jail. It's never going to happen. It's a fantasy.
No, they're protected.
You have to get involved on the local level. There are a lot of things you can do. Volunteer or run for an office or make phone calls or do whatever you have to do. Don't be silent and get involved in things like that everybody can do and make your voices heard.
That's
and if
right.
you go on the offensive like that and put your energy to where you can actually make a change. Don't put your energy to something that's not going to make a difference. Put your energy on something that you can actually do and that will get a result.
Yeah.
And that's where change starts to happen. That's what America's all about, is people doing that. I mean, we're the good guys on this. They're the liars. They're the scum. They're the corrupt people. I think a lot of them really don't see it. Like this guy saying him and his family have been through a lot. What the hell is he talking about? He created this problem for himself. He knowingly lied, connived, and did these things with Hillary, knowing it was wrong, but he's the victim. I mean, it's incredible how these people process things. And Trump's still the bad guy.
Like right now,
it's crazy.
Gun control. Well, gun control may fizzle out here real quick because we're a week into this, and the news attention span is pretty short.
Yeah.
But
true.
when that terrible shooting happened last week, and then Beto made that political stunt last week at the Abbott press conference. You see how the Democrats are. The gun control is a distraction. I know a lot of people say everything's a distraction. That's not the case. But this gun control debate is a distraction from inflation, gas prices, the baby formula shortage, and all of these things. The gun control debate is a distraction from the failure of Biden and the Democrats.
Exactly.
And I'm not saying we shouldn't focus and talk at all about the gun control debate, but we can't forget about these other things too, because they want us talking about the gun control and ignoring these things that are going on in the country right now because of Biden are things that have happened because of him. And with all these problems that are going on with Biden, that all this suffering that's going on in the country, I feel like we're being punished for our support of Donald Trump.
Remember, I told you that was going to happen.
Yeah.
I said that.
Yeah.
I should be a psychic because I remember saying to you,
well, maybe you are a psychic.
Maybe I am, many, many times when Biden was put in the office, and maybe even before that, I said, you realize now we're going to be punished for supporting him.
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, I said, I'm telling you, the swamp is going to clamp down harder. And, because they had a moment where, this is from their point of view, where they lost control of the masses, even though the masses are the ones that should be in control because it's our government, but they've lost sight of that. And they feel they lost control of us, and they're terrified of that happening again. And so they've clinched tighter. But, the old saying, when you clench something tighter, what's that old saying? And then the more, if you want something, I can't remember. You know what I'm talking about.
I don't know.
When you clench something tighter, it wants to break free more.
Yeah.
And it ends up not working out the way you want it to. They use that a lot in relationships to give people freedom or you know what I mean? I can't remember what it is, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean? But they're clinching tighter, and that only makes the people want their freedom more and makes the people go to Donald Trump more because, like I've said, he's a folk hero. I've always seen him that way. And, you know, he's the guy who tells everybody, I'm fighting for you and I'm here. And they're not just going after me, they're going after you. And that's very true. You hear them talking about us. Biden, you know, has insulted us. Hillary given us these names. You know, Trump doesn't even need a marketing team because these guys do all the branding for us and they're really good at it, apparently. Yeah. They think they're insulting us, but we, you know, we take it on our own. But that's what's happening.
Yeah, it seems to be, and we're being punished for our support of Trump.
We're being punished for sure.
And they're not going to end our suffering.
They're pissed off at us.
That's right. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we get back, there is a lot more to talk about. I mean, the Memorial Day holiday may be the biggest holiday in America. Really, it is. It's the second only to Christmas, I would say, so far as people being off and the news taking the weekend off and everything. But this has been a busy few days. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. We'll be back right after this.
Everyone has a story to tell. We all experience hardships in life, but how people react to those hardships can determine who they are and their quality of life. The book from author Hannon Safe, Scattered Thoughts, available on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, is an inspirational book that gathers moving stories of strength and survival. Stories of people whose battles did not define them, but instead propelled them forward to become who they are today, overcoming tremendous odds to end up being winners in the end. The people whose stories are written about are now happy and wish that you could end up with their results, wanting you to forgive yourself, love yourself, and most importantly, appreciate and know your worth. If you know anyone who could benefit from this book, it makes a great gift. Scattered Thoughts from author Hannon Safe, available on Amazon and BarnesandNoble.com. Blocks DAO has been to the moon, and it's made of blocks. Inspired by Minecraft, the #1 selling game of all time, Blocks DAO is a collection of 10,000 NFTs and the blocks token that make up the DAO. Blockchains are based on decentralization, which means they're not controlled by a single central authority, like the government, and that is exactly what DAO delivers to a company or organization. Blocks DAO provides a platform that will offer an opportunity for its holders to contribute and participate in the project discussions through voting and adding real utilities to its ecosystem. To learn more, visit CryptoBlocksDAO.com. That's DAO, D-A-O. From bedrock to the moon, CryptoBlocksDAO.com. Do you have any anxious attachments in your relationships? If you answered yes, you are not alone. Millions of people around the world have insecure attachment styles. Anxious attachment is a common form of insecure attachment, and it creates worry and distrust in relationships. The audiobook, Anxious Attachments No More, available on Audible, covers this important topic. When you have an insecure attachment style, you may tend to self-sabotage your relationships, and you may feel unable to trust your partner's love. You may think that you are never going to be worthy of another person's love, and you worry that they will someday betray you. Those worries are based on the past issues that have taught you to expect certain types of treatment in relationships, and those expectations make you feel insecure and anxious. This audiobook will give you insight and help you develop healthy relationships. Anxious Attachments No More. Order your copy right now on Audible. If you sew patriotic and MAGA shirts, clothing, mugs, hoodies, and more, there's just one place you need to go where you will find all the pro-conservative designs you will ever need. Right Way Design Company on Etsy. Online at etsy.com/shop/rightwaydesignco. They have a great selection of patriotic, pro-Trump, and Americana designs. You can simply download them and add them to your favorite products. Whether you want to make a t-shirt for yourself or sell them in your store, Right Way Design Company has amazing designs that will make you proud to be an American. These designs are perfect for events, rallies, or just wearing around town. Show your pride in MAGA and America with designs from Right Way Design Company on Etsy. All the designs come to you in a PNG digital file that are ready to place on your favorite items. They're very affordable too. Right Way Design Company on Etsy. Online at etsy.com/shop/rightwaydesignco. That's etsy.com/shop/rightwaydesignco.
You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast, broadcasting from sunny South Florida. Brian is joined by his wife and co-host, Kathy. Follow Brian on social media at briancraigshow.com. And now, Brian and Kathy.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig, always joined by my wife and co-host, Kathy. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. So Lia Thomas has given what I believe is Lia Thomas's first interview. We're going to play some of this for you in just a minute. This is the swimmer. And Lia Thomas is going out for the U.S. Olympic team.
I told you that was going to happen. See, I'm psychic. Yeah. I predicted that too.
Yeah. Well, let me just play the interview since we've not heard from Lia Thompson in an interview. Or is it Thomas?
Lia Thompson's the actress.
From Back to the Future. You're correct.
Don't
Lia
get those
Thomas.
too confused.
Lia Thomas.
Yes.
Okay. This will be the first time we've heard from Lia Thomas. So let's just play this, then we'll talk about it. All right. Lia Thomas, first interview, going out for the U.S. Olympic team.
She's the swimmer who created shockwaves across the country. 23-year-old Lia Thomas.
Lia Thomas pulling away.
The UPenn swimmer making history in March as the first known transgender athlete to win a Division I national title. But her athletic achievements on the women's swim team igniting fierce debate over fairness in women's sports.
It is just not fair.
When it comes to competition, it's just not a fair fight.
Throughout the controversy, Thomas has largely remained quiet until now.
I knew there would be scrutiny against me if I...
Lia Thomas has a deeper voice than I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Competed as a woman. I was prepared for that, but I also don't need anybody's permission to be myself and to do the sport that I love.
Okay, now, just say this. You don't need permission to go through transition or to dress in any way you want or carry yourself on as any way you want. But when you're talking about athletics, you just can't all of a sudden decide, well, I'm a girl. Like, for example, if I decided, okay, I'm now a 12-year-old boy, I'm going to go play in the Little League World Series. I've always wanted to play Little League. That Little League World Series, I've always wanted to be a part of that. I now identify as a 12-year-old boy. Could I go play in the Little League World Series?
I would have a problem with that for sure.
And you would say, well, Brian, you're not 12 years old. Well, who are you to tell me that I'm not 12 years old? I'm identifying as 12 years old.
It goes into this whole thinking of your truth. And the problem with your truth is that it's not,
a lie.
Then there's no longer an actual truth. Everybody lives in their own delusions.
Yeah.
I had said a while ago that he was going to go to the Olympics, and that's his ultimate goal. And what'll be interesting is the dynamic on the Olympic team, because the Olympic teams go together, the men and the women go together. Right now, he is in a competition world of women only. And that's easy for him, and he's not dealing with any backlash outwardly, I don't think. They're all being pretty quiet about it. But when he gets on that Olympic team, and he probably will, he's going to have to deal with the male swimmers that are there. And I don't think they're going to like him. I think they're going to see him as a cheat.
Because the
team travels together.
The entire team is integrated for every sport.
That's right.
And gender, they're all together.
Well, not competing, but they travel together and they're in the pool together. I remember when Michael Phelps was competing.
They had the women
and
there
the women were there, like sometimes around the pool.
They'll be called transphobic.
And that might be the case. And I have a feeling that he is the kind of person that doesn't care. True sociopath, no empathy for other people, and he's only out for his own gain. So whatever they do to go after him in that regard, he'll just use it to prop himself up.
Well, yeah.
That's what he does.
Lia Thomas.
But I don't think they're going to like him
Lia
around.
Thomas, here's the thing. Everybody has their own opinions on these things, but I think most people in 2022 have no problem with transgender people. But what's going on here with Lia Thomas, many people believe this to be true. That this isn't just me. This is common thinking that Lia Thomas is running a con game, can't make it on the boys' team, and has just done this to be able to get on the Olympic team and win all of these competitions. That it's a scam. Now let me play more of this interview.
Don't you think it's going to be weird? Hold on, real quick. at the Olympics if he goes.
Yeah.
To be standing there in a woman's bathing suit with his package all for the world to see.
It's still
you
there.
Can't hide it. Next to the guys.
Yeah, it's insane.
I mean, that is such a weird look.
It's insane.
And you know that they are going to feel really weird about it. Not because he's transgender, but because he's defeating
Kathy?
all these girls when he shouldn't be. And you know what else? Hold on, before I forget. You're going to see him standing next to the men, and you're going to see how manly he looks.
Yeah.
Because he will be the same height and the same build. And that's when you're really going to see the difference of him compared to the girls.
Well, what I've been calling on from the beginning of this whole thing with Lia Thomas is for the female competitors to refuse to jump in the pool. Let the thing go, the starter thing go off.
They shouldn't.
Let Lia Thomas jump in by themselves, and they won't even know it until the race is over and everyone else is still up there. And I understand, they have their Olympic dreams and all, but this has to be brought to an end.
And they don't want to lose their college scholarships.
This is insane. All right, so back to a little more of the interview here. This is the first interview that Lia Thomas has given.
At birth, Thomas grew up in Austin, Texas.
Oh, let me rewind this because the way they say this I thought was so strange. All right, let me get back. Let me rewind it a little bit.
I was prepared for that, but I also don't need anybody's permission to be myself and to do the sport that I love.
Assigned male at birth, Thomas.
Okay. Assigned male at birth.
Oh my gosh.
When a baby is born, the doctor sees, is there a PP or no PP, and you're either a boy or a girl. You're not assigned.
That's crazy.
You're not assigned. You're born that way.
That's crazy.
Grew up in Austin, Texas, where she says she fell in love with swimming when she was just 4. But as she grew, she says she felt increasingly disconnected to her body.
I didn't feel like I was a boy. I was like, this isn't me. This isn't who I am.
I don't believe
Thomas
him
earned
for
a
second.
spot at her Ivy League dream school, UPenn, on the men's team. But by her sophomore year, she says her gender dysphoria left her depressed and suicidal.
And losing all the races too, right?
Yeah, exactly. I don't believe him for a minute.
I could really barely get out of bed, and I said I can't live like this anymore.
Okay. What I'd like to know, and of course, this is ABC, Good Morning America, ESPN that did this interview. What I'd like to know is this. When did Lia Thomas start being Lia? Right? Was you understand what I'm saying here?
When Lia decided she can win races
as a girl,
instead of as a guy. Mm-hmm. That's when she decided.
Very likely, but they're not interested in letting us know that.
Be able to do things I enjoy.
Even if it might cost me my swimming career.
Yeah, and that's part of what kept me from transitioning for so long is I wasn't sure if I could continue swimming and doing the sport that I loved.
Thomas began HRT, hormone replacement therapy, in May of her sophomore year, 2019.
The mental and emotional changes actually happened very quickly. I was feeling a lot better mentally. I was less depressed, and then I lost muscle mass, and I became a lot weaker and a lot slower in the water.
After following NCAA guidelines of a year of hormone therapy to change gender categories, Thomas started her senior year on the women's team.
See, this tells you this was an entire racket in the making during college to get on the U.S. Olympic team. I'm not going to play the rest of the interview. I don't need to hear this celebration of a con job. And you know what I was missing, and I didn't see the interview, but I'm guessing this didn't happen. I really would have liked it. Now, maybe she did. Did the reporter ask him how it affects the other swimmers, and is he concerned with the fact that doesn't care that nobody can beat him now because he's twice their size? Doesn't care. Has twice the arm length, twice the legs, the feet are twice as big. And I like who says I'm weaker, I have less muscle mass. I don't buy any of that. Men still overpower women physically. Mm-hmm. That's just the way they're built. You could take a guy who's 5'5" and weighs 130 pounds, and he can overpower a 175-pound female bodybuilder. Mm-hmm. That is true because they just are built stronger for the most part. So it doesn't matter. He's a guy physically, and I don't care what hormones he takes. This is ridiculous. But I would really like to ask him. These other players are not happy. Nobody has a fair shot anymore. It's not equal.
So how do you feel about that? You're destroying the careers and the future
in my
these
opinion,
girls.
Lia Thomas is insane, doesn't care about other people.
That's for sure.
And, this is what happened. This is what I think. It's kind of like on American Idol.
Yeah.
When you watch the auditions on American Idol, most of the people that come up are the hottest singer in their town or their church, and they're a superstar back home. And then they get to American Idol, and they're below average a lot of times. They're not all that because everybody there is the best in their hometown. And I think what may have happened with Lia Thomas is Lia Thomas was a great swimmer at their high school. They went to college, and they were less than mediocre, and that caused the depression and all of that. And then at some point came up with this idea that if I go through a year of hormones by my senior year, I'll be able to race with the girls. I will end breaking world records, and I'll walk onto the U.S. Olympic team, and that's like winning the Powerball lottery with endorsements, and I'll be a historical figure as the first transgendered person to do it.
And also, he realized that if he didn't do that, he would just fall into obscurity and just be a regular schmuck like everybody else. And now he's on a totally different path.
That's right.
Because of this.
And there's another thing that's going to happen, okay? Lia Thomas will make the U.S. Olympic team because, this country's all woke. But once Lia Thomas gets to the Olympic Games and these other countries are not woke like America, what will their reaction be? This is not...
it'll be interesting.
The International Olympic Committee is probably very left-wing, and all that. But once they're out there and they're swimming like up against, like, for example, I don't really pay attention to ladies swimming in the Olympics, but if Lia Thomas gets up there to jump in the pool, do you think that Iran is going to let their swimmer swim up against a transgendered person?
Yeah.
Or China?
Or the Russians or the China. Exactly. Yeah. I think it's going to be
Saudi Arabia.
And like I said, when you see him standing there next to the male swimmers, you will see how physically he resembles them so much more than a woman. I wanted to bring this up. This just came out. At first, I thought it was fake news. Herschel Walker's just making critical mistakes.
Oh, no. I don't want to hear anything bad about
Herschel. First,
Herschel.
I thought this was fake, but it's out of his mouth. Herschel Walker is mad at Trump for taking credit for his primary win. It says here, this is, where is this article?
Yahoo News?
No, but Yahoo takes articles from other magazines and puts it in. Anyway, ex-football hero Herschel Walker just won the Republican primary. He said that he doesn't include former President Trump as far as the win that he won. The Senate candidate appeared on PBS interview, Love and Respect with Killer Mike. Never heard of that, this past weekend, and griped about how Trump is falsely taking credit for his primary win and his decision to run in the first place. This is him talking, quotes, "One thing that people don't know is President Trump never asked me. I need to tell him that. He never asked me. I heard it all on the television that he's going to ask Herschel, saying Herschel is going to run. President Trump never came out and said, Herschel, will you run for that Senate seat? Consequently, Walker isn't happy with Trump right now. So I'm mad at him because he never asked, but he's taking credit that he asked." Wow. What a stupid thing to say.
I got to get some context here from Herschel because, you don't want to be going up against bad-mouthing Trump, Herschel Walker. That doesn't sound very smart.
This is the dumbest political move.
Yeah, it's
this
not
guy,
very smart.
why even say this? He's already caving into the pressure from the swamp.
Well, he's under a lot of pressure.
He's disassociating himself from Trump. Whether it's true or not, that doesn't matter. You don't come out and say that and come out. You think Trump's going to take this lying down? And what is that going to say to the voters? It's going to make him look like a fraud.
If it wasn't for Donald Trump, Herschel Walker wouldn't be running for the Senate.
And you notice, he wouldn't have won. And Trump gets credit for his win, whether he likes it or not.
That's right.
And why didn't he say this before the election? Why is he saying it
this makes me very nervous about Herschel Walker.
Wow, what a dumb thing to say.
If he turns on see, this is what you got to watch. These guys, they turn on MAGA.
That's what we were talking about.
Now, I want to take a moment to thank all of our Patreon supporters for their support of the program. Thank you so much, all of our Patreon supporters. And there are perks to becoming a Patreon supporter. Patreon supporters get commercial-free editions of each and every podcast episode. Okay, and that's a very good benefit. And also our top Patreon supporters get a live on-air thank you on each and every podcast episode. So the names you will hear now are our top Patreon supporters. I want to thank Andrew and Connie Christine, Gary, Chuck, Dee, Pamela, Rick, Rich, and Nick. These are our top Patreon supporters. Thank you all for your support. And if you would like to become a Patreon supporter and support this program, there's a link in the description of this and every episode. There's also a direct link on my website, briancraigshow.com. Well, we're all out of time for today, but we will be back next time. I'm Brian, always joined by my wife and co-host Kathy. Thanks for tuning in, everyone, and we will talk to you next time.
It's game time. Game time is an attitude and a way of life. So what does that mean? It's about HydroAffirmation and about physical as well as mental health. At HydroAffirmation.com, you can get a water bottle that encourages you to make healthy choices for your body and your mind. The goal at HydroAffirmation.com is to help spread mental health awareness and the importance of speaking things into existence on a daily basis, as well as reducing waste with their non-plastic bottles. Their BPA-free, reusable, double-insulated stainless steel water bottle features their beautifully 3D printed original HydroAffirmation artwork that includes a steel cap, plastic cap, and recycled clear bumper. They use only the best materials, technology, and design to give you a premium product that's built to stand up to your rough, busy lifestyle and still look great when it's sitting on your desk, at work, or tucked in your gym bag. HydroAffirmation.com helps you become more aware of your thoughts and your feelings so you can control them instead of letting them control you. It's about daily affirmation and hydration. To learn more, visit HydroAffirmation.com. Also, find them on Instagram at HydroAffirmation. Get your reusable stainless steel water bottle today. Nourish yourself and affirm your desires. HydroAffirmation.com.